the FBI has arrested a suspect.
Today, the Justice Department arrested Jack Douglas Teixeira.
21-year-old Airman Jack Teixeira.
The suspect in that massive leak of Pentagon secrets.
Are not taking care of classified materials the way they should.
In April 2023, classified documents related to the Russo-Ukrainian war and foreign intelligence assessments concerning North Korea, China, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates began circulating on social media platforms like Twitter, Telegram, and 4chan. The documents were allegedly photographed and posted by Jack Teixeira, an airman first class of the Massachusetts Air National Guard, on a Discord server. Discord, we can remind you, is a social media platform where communities of users can share ideas and stuff such as messages, calls, and files. A subset of the documents were also shared on Discord servers for a YouTuber and the sandbox video game Minecraft. The documents were then spread throughout pro-Russian Telegram channels with at least one image even altered to show more Ukrainian casualties than Russian casualties. The leaked classified documents contain operational briefs about the Russo-Ukrainian war, with both sides facing difficulties. The documents suggest that more Russians have died in the war than Ukrainians have, but Ukrainians struggle to counter Russian flanking maneuvers and face supply shortages in the Battle of Bakhmut. The documents also detail efforts by the Russian military intelligence agency GRU and the Wagner Group to promote Russian ideas and downplay American values, with Wagner Group allegedly attempting to acquire weapons in Turkey, a NATO member. Some documents also allege that Mossad encouraged staff and citizens to participate in judicial reform protests. And if the Wagner Group or Mossad are of interest to you, that's an awesome idea for another video. So now may be a great time to subscribe and hit the bell icon. The leak of classified documents has caused a diplomatic crisis between the United States and the Five Eyes. Five Eyes, we remind you, is an intelligence alliance, like a spying network, between the US, UK, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. So you can imagine how embarrassing this leak is for the US, because it shows to its partners that the US cannot be trusted to protect secrets. An interagency effort, including the Department of Defense, the White House, the Department of State, and the US intelligence community, is assessing the leak, while the Department of Justice and FBI have opened a criminal inquiry into the leaker. US officials also suspect Russia of behind the leak. The leaked documents were first posted on a Discord server for a British-Filipino YouTuber Wow Mao and a Minecraft Discord server. A Bellingcat investigation found that the documents were originally posted by a server administrator known as OG in a channel about the Russian invasion of Ukraine. It was discovered that OG is likely Jack Teixeira, an airman in the 102nd Intelligence Wing of the Massachusetts Air National Guard, who was arrested by the FBI in April 2023 in connection with the leak. Teixeira was also known on other social media platforms as Jack the Dripper. Users of the server believed OG to be a trusted source and formed a bond with him as he posted the documents. An anonymous user on 4chan posted images of the leaked documents a month after they were first posted in a Discord server. The images were circulated in pro-Russian Telegram channels, with one channel attributed to the first image. The images posted on this channel and on 4chan were identical, except for one image that was altered to show more Ukrainian casualties than the Russian ones. A former US Navy aviation electronics technician second class, who was last stationed at Naval Air Station Whidbey Island, has been accused of being behind the Donbas Devyushka, please excuse that pronunciation, social media accounts that allegedly posted at least 4 of the classified documents. The North Atlantic Fellas Organization identified Sarah Bills as one of the personas behind Donbas Devyushka. The New York Times initially reported on the documents 2 days after they were posted on Telegram, and Twitter CEO Elon Musk suggested that Twitter would not take down the documents in response to a tweet about the leak. Discord is said to be cooperating with law enforcement regarding the leak. The New York Times reported on April 21 that a user with a profile matching Jack Teixeira's had shared the leaked classified documents to another Discord server starting on February 25, 2022, a few days after the start of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Edward Snowden, a former contractor for the US National Security Agency or the NSA, made headlines the world over in 2013 when he leaked classified information about the US government's surveillance programs. His actions ignited a debate about privacy, security, and government surveillance, and his revelations had a significant impact on the way people think about their personal data and the role of government in society. Snowden's leaks revealed that the NSA and the US government had been collecting massive amounts of data on American citizens without their knowledge or consent, including phone records and internet activity. The information also showed that the agency was using very sophisticated technologies like spying on people's browser history, SMS, and listening to their calls. Snowden argued that these activities were an infringement on individual privacy rights and represented a serious threat to civil liberties. The revelations sparked immediate controversy and outrage, with many people calling for Snowden to be prosecuted for espionage. Some critics argued that his actions had put national security at risk and his leaks had compromised the safety of US citizens. Others, however, praised Snowden for his courage in exposing what they saw as government overreach and intrusion into citizens' lives. In response to the leaks, the US government launched an investigation into Snowden's actions and charged him with violating the Espionage Act of 1917. Snowden fled the country and sought asylum in Russia, where he has lived in exile ever since. He continues to speak out about government surveillance and the importance of protecting individual privacy, and he has become a prominent advocate for transparency and civil liberties. The Snowden leak had a significant impact on public perception of government surveillance and the importance of personal privacy. It raised important questions about the balance between national security and individual rights and freedoms, and it highlighted the need for greater transparency and accountability in government activities. Since the leak, there have been significant efforts to reform surveillance laws and policies in the US and around the world. Many technology companies have also taken steps to increase encryption and protect their users' privacy, while civil liberties groups have continued to advocate for greater transparency and oversight of government surveillance programs. Overall, while the Snowden leak was controversial and divisive, it played a crucial role in raising awareness about government surveillance and the need for greater protection of individual privacy. It sparked an important public debate about these issues and helped to drive important reforms that will continue to shape the way we think about surveillance and privacy for years to come. The leaked documents, believed to be over 100 pages, contain charts and graphs of intelligence the US got by spying on other nations such as North Korea, China, Iran, and the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The US government stores such documents in a sensitive compartmented information facility, or an SCIF, where electronic devices connected to the internet are not allowed. However, a senior US official believes hundreds or even thousands of government officials may have obtained confidential documents. The documents released highly sensitive information on the US provided military resources available to Ukraine, estimated casualties for both Russian and Ukrainian forces, and details of Ukraine's planned counteroffensive. According to the documents, the US estimated that there were 189,500 to 223,000 Russian casualties and 124,500 to 131,000 Ukrainian casualties, but with low confidence in the estimates. Additionally, the documents allege significant casualties in the Spetsnaz GRU unit. The documents also reveal plans by the Russian General Staff to counter NATO-provided tanks, which involves paying Russian soldiers to destroy these tanks. Additionally, the documents show that the US was aware of Russian military planning, including plans to destroy a hangar near Odessa containing drones. According to one of the leaked documents, a Russian fighter jet nearly shot down a British surveillance plane off the coast of Crimea in September 2022. The incident was actually disclosed in October by the Secretary of State for Defense, Ben Wallace. Back then, he said he believed the firing was a technical issue, but the leaks arguably and very embarrassingly reveal that he was lying to the public on record. The document also detailed encounters that Russian fighter jets had with foreign aircraft, including the 2023 Black Sea drone incident. Such revelations are, of course, hugely embarrassing to the US and may adversely affect the ability of Western nations to help Ukraine. Furthermore, the papers reveal that Ukraine's air defense will be diminished by May, and there are references to Ukraine using weapons inside Russia Russia. For example, one document mentions Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky proposing the use of UAVs or unmanned aerial vehicles or drones to strike within the Rostov Oblast region of Russia. Additionally, LAPIS, an advanced satellite system used by the Ukrainian military, was also disclosed in the documents. The papers also detail a proposed combat power bill that includes 9 brigades provided by the US and its allies. One document in the leaked files reveals Russia's attempt to disrupt Starlink systems provided by Elon Musk's SpaceX to Ukraine. The files also include a list of countries with small contingents of military special forces operating inside Ukraine, with the UK having sent the largest number of soldiers. This is extremely serious because NATO has always denied being involved in the war, and this revelation gives Russia another plausible justification to launch a nuclear strike against Ukraine, which will, of course, immediately result in Ukraine's sudden and total defeat. Or the involvement of other nuclear powers such as the US and the UK, potentially turning a Ukrainian-Russian war into a nuclear third world war. The leaks also expose how the US embassy in Kyiv had detailed US special forces to provide security for VIPs and to assist with oversight of US equipment and supplies sent to Ukraine. Additionally, the world now also knows that the US intelligence spied on UN General Secretary Antonio Guterres in April 2023, believing he was too soft on Russia, and also revealed other secret spying activities on allies such as Jordan, Turkey, Ivory Coast, and Colombia. According to the leaked documents, the GRU has engaged in information warfare in Africa to promote Russian foreign policy while downplaying public opinion about the US. The Wagner Group is also mentioned, with documents suggesting they may be obtaining weapons from an outpost in Mali. The leak includes a Defense Intelligence Agency analysis indicating that peace talks between the US and Russia are unlikely even if Ukraine is able to inflict significant losses on Russian forces. Another document prepared by the US Joint Chiefs of Staff, Cyber Command, and European Command analyzed Russian online disinformation and propaganda operations in Fabrica, finding that their operations are becoming more effective, with 99% of their fake social media accounts evading detection by platforms. The leaked documents also contain information about the risks posed by China, including inadequacies in Taiwan's air defenses and the high probability of China establishing air superiority quickly in an attack on Taiwan. The documents also mention a test of the DF-27 ballistic missile, which is capable of penetrating US ballistic missile defense systems, and suggest that China is likely developing cyber attack capabilities to target Western satellites. The documents also provide details on British naval aircraft carriers potentially being deployed in the Indo-Pacific and differing visions of Indo-Pacific policies between the Conservative and Labour parties. Other information in the documents includes Chinese investments in a Nicaraguan deep sea port, Chinese complaints regarding the exclusion of Huawei in Jordanian 5G bidding, a satellite rocket launch in March, the commissioning of a new Yushan-class landing helicopter dock, Chinese Hikvision surveillance equipment in Department of Defense supply chains, and instructions for Chinese foreign affairs officials regarding the high-altitude balloon incident. One document shows satellite imagery of the two WZ-8s, which could provide China with an advantage in a potential war against Taiwan. In relation to China, the documents also discuss various risks posed by the country, such as its cyber attack capabilities and its potential to establish air superiority in an attack on Taiwan. There are also mentions of Chinese investments in a Nicaraguan port and complaints about Huawei's exclusion in Jordanian 5G bidding. In Egypt, the documents suggest that President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi planned to sell rockets, artillery, and gunpowder to Russia while attempting to keep the supply a secret to avoid problems with the West. The documents also suggest that the US has been able to surveil Iran and monitor the International Atomic Energy Agency. Additionally, the leaked documents allege that Serbia supplied or agreed to supply weapons to Ukraine in its defense against Russia, despite refusing to sanction Russia economically. All these nations will now try desperately to win back Russia's favor, and they will also be a lot more reluctant in sharing intelligence and resources with the US. As another example, the leaked papers also also describe internal debates in South Korea about providing Korean artillery shells to Ukraine, with concerns about violating South Korea's policy on lethal aid. The documents also show the US pressuring Israel to provide lethal aid to Ukraine, with Israel most likely to use the Turkish model of providing weaponry through third parties. Another set of documents allege that the Mossad encouraged staff and citizens to participate in protests against judicial reform, which the Israeli government denied earlier. The leak also reveals that personnel from the Wagner Group, a Russian private military company, planned to purchase weapons and equipment from Turkey to use in Mali and Ukraine. The documents also indicate that the president of Mali confirmed that Mali could acquire weapons from Turkey on behalf of Wagner. The leaked documents suggest that the Wagner Group is trying to weaken US efforts in Africa and is attempting to extend its activities to Haiti, where it has offered to fight violent gangs on behalf of the Haitian government. Haiti, we remind you, is right under the nose of the US. According to leaked documents, the Russian cybercriminal group Zarya, believed to be acting under the direction of the Federal Security Service, or the FSB, was able to compromise the IP address of an unnamed Canadian gas company. The group was reportedly capable of increasing valve pressure, disabling alarms, and shutting down pipelines. Leaked documents also reveal information about the United Arab Emirates' ties with Russia, including plans to create a regional weapons repair facility in the UAE for Abu Dhabi's inventory of Russian weapons such as air defense systems, anti-tank missiles, surface-to-air missiles, and infantry fighting vehicles. The documents also include Russian intelligence claiming an alleged intelligence alliance between Moscow and Abu Dhabi against the US and UK, which was also earlier denied by Abu Dhabi as being false. To make matter worse for the US, the leaked documents not only include intelligence findings, but also reveal the sources and methods of intelligence gathering, potentially compromising future intelligence operations. For example, it is now revealed that the CIA is using signals intelligence to spy on discussions inside the Russian Defense Ministry, as well as on the South Korean and Israeli governments and individuals associated with the Wagner Group. The leak also exposes which Russian agencies have been penetrated by US intelligence, putting human sources at risk and allowing targeted governments to take countermeasures to patch up exposed vulnerabilities. Basically, what's in the leaks once again exposes how the US spies on everyone, including its friends and allies, and how it is increasingly incapable of protecting state secrets. Kyiv is in a sensitive situation due to the timing of the leaks. The Ukraine-Russia war, which you know started back in February 2022, has already killed a large number of Russians. And now the newly leaked documents reveal that the Ukrainian military is preparing for a counter-offensive on Russia that is expected to be a critical phase in the ongoing war. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry had even requested senior military leaders to avoid discussing these plans due to fear of anxiety they may cause in Russia. The leaks also expose some of Ukraine's tactical weaknesses. For example, the documents suggest that the Ukrainian army may face challenges in amassing troops, equipment, and ammunition, and may fall short of its original goals for the expected counteroffensive. The documents also indicate that only limited territorial gains can be expected in areas occupied by Russia. So while the news is not entirely surprising, its public exposure is still grim news for Kyiv. The leaked documents also pose a threat to Ukraine's war effort by revealing which Russian agencies the United States has the most information about, potentially giving Russia the opportunity to cut off sources of information. The full extent of the damage is uncertain, but if Russia can figure out how the United States gathers intelligence and stops the flow, it could have an impact on the battlefield in Ukraine. The leak has also complicated relationships with allies and raised concerns about the ability to keep sensitive information secret. A Western intelligence official also added that the release of the information was painful and could reduce intelligence sharing. The documents also show that the United States is not only spying on Russia but also on its allies, which could further affect America's diplomatic relations and clout. The leaked documents, which are classified, reveal operational briefs about the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. The documents suggest that although more Russians have died in the war than Ukrainians, the Ukrainian military has faced challenges in countering Russian flanking maneuvers and has experienced shortages of supplies during the Battle of Bakhmut. Additionally, the documents detail efforts by the Russian military intelligence agency GRU and the Wagner Group to promote Russian ideals and undermine American values. The Wagner Group has been alleged to have attempted to acquire weapons in Turkey, a NATO member. The documents are believed to be around 100 pages long, with the New York Times having reviewed about 50 of those pages. Some experts warn that the leak could potentially damage US national security and counterintelligence efforts in Europe and other parts of the world. With that, we say goodbye to today's episode. Please check out the links in the description, and we'll all see you in the next story, my friend. Ciao.